Nintendo news, viewer questions, player spotlight, and our Nintendo Time Portal is all coming up. Stay tuned! The NintendoChitChat podcast starts shortly. Nintendo news, viewer questions, player spotlight, and our Nintendo Time Portal is all coming up. Stay tuned! Support this podcast by blasting that like button, sharing the stream, and subscribing right now. gamers, get ready! The Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast with your hosts Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard starts right now.
Hey guys, welcome. Good to see you all chatting away on Friday, May 25th, 2018. This is episode 21 of the Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast. And this is the Dillon's Dead Heat Breaker title. Game released, I believe, today. Pretty cool game. Released physically in both Japan and Europe, but North America just got the eShop version, so go figure. But yeah, Dillon's Dead Heat Breakers is $39.99 in Nintendo 3DS eShop. Looks pretty cool. It actually uses your Mii character alongside Dillon, the Armadillo, and his Squirrel Engineer, Russ. So it looks pretty fun. Alright guys, we have some new format changes to the show as well. So keep that in mind for episode 21. We have our Nintendo News Bites, our Time Portal, your questions, and more coming up with Samantha. And don't forget, the podcast is available audio only in Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud, Player FM, and more. So we'll start with the news and Samantha after this. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast with your host, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard. We'll be right back after the short break. Visit our website at NintendoChitChat.com and catch up on everything Nintendo. Grab the audio version of the Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast on iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or Player FM. You're listening to the Nintendo Chit-Chat podcast with your hosts, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard.
All right. Happy Friday to you all. Don't forget, tomorrow is the Nintendo Chit-Chat Late at Night, the first episode, going on at 6 p.m. East Coast time. Join us actually at 5:30 for the pre-show. We'll be live streaming then, so... But today we have Samantha Lienhard back on the podcast for episode 21. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. So we've changed a few things around. What do you think so far of what we've done? You think it's going to work?
Seems good to me.
Yeah.
We've got a more sort of streamlined news article now.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, listening and watching, we're having more of like a bite-sized news broadcast. We'll be discussing things more often with you guys in chat, taking more questions as well, and doing more segments about what we're playing and that kind of thing too. So this is called the Nintendo News Bites. More of like an abbreviated article, I guess, where you can kind of get the condensed version of the news for the past week by Samantha. We had some really cool announcements too. A bunch of new trailers came out. Some really interesting things regarding Resident Evil. But let's get into it, shall we, Samantha?
All right.
Cool. So the first on the list is Nintendo actually announced they'll be selling a second unit of the Switch, right?
Yeah, so this has only been announced for Japan so far, and what this is a Switch unit that doesn't come with the dock or the charger or anything like that. It only comes with the Switch itself, the Joy-Con controllers, and the straps for the Joy-Cons. So the idea would be, I guess, if you have a second one, or if you're sharing with your family, so you already have the dock and the charger and other things that you would need, and you just want the second console, this would be good for that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this is being sold through, I guess, Nintendo Japan, I guess, through the website, correct?
I think so, yes.
So it won't be sold in stores as a separate unit, I don't believe. So it's still online, I think. So, yeah, pretty interesting, actually. I hope we see this in North America as well, because... you know, there's probably some families out there who want to have an extra unit, but not the dock with it. So the extra cost reduction, I think, is a good savings. I think it was $50 translated from the yen to American dollars. So
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I think I heard that it was something like that. So, $300 for, of course, the dock version, but it would be $249 or $250 if we had that over here. So, without the dock, which is a pretty cool thing. So let me know in the comments, guys, and chat. What do you think about this? Of course, when we first heard about this, I'm like, oh wow, maybe they're making a handheld unit or something like that, just a handheld. But no, it's just another Switch without the dock, basically. So same thing. Same size, just no dock in this version. So there you go. That's for Japan only at this point, but we'll see if it passes on to Europe and North America. All right, moving along, we have a deck building roguelite RPG called A Long Way Down. And this has been announced for both the Switch and PC, right?
Yes, and so it's going to cost $14.99. And so the basic idea here is that you will build a deck that you'll use for combat, and then you'll be exploring procedurally generated areas and things like that.
That sounds pretty cool. We got Christina, we got Dank, we got Ferrari, JKW sponsor, Anita, Fluffy, Yoshi. Good to see all of you guys here. Hit that like button for us. So speaking of some weird news announcements, we have Resident Evil 7 coming to the Switch. And people are like, yay! And then they heard it's only the Cloud Edition, which is really interesting. So explain the Cloud Edition if you can, Samantha, for us.
Right, so this is only out in Japan so far. It's unclear if they're going to release this anywhere else. But the basic idea is that it's running from the cloud, so you will need your Switch to be online, and then you'll essentially be streaming Resident Evil 7 to play it. So obviously you need a very good, stable internet connection for this to be possible.
And in a lot of places, it's probably not a good idea to actually be able to play it because you have no good, solid connection, so...
And the model that they're using for the pricing is that since you won't actually own a copy of the game, you'll purchase a 180-day subscription.
Wow.
And then you'll have access to the game. It's interesting, a subscription service for...
So that's 6 months then. That's not too bad, actually, for time-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can play the first 15 minutes for free.
Okay. This is a really interesting route to go, I think. I hope that we don't see too much of this. I do like owning the games, you know. But it is a good deal, I think, in the sense that if you have a good connection, want to play it, you can have it for 6 months for that certain cost then, too. So that's pretty cool. Giving you plenty of time to actually play through it. I was kind of worried about having, like, 2 or 3 months window and not being able to get it done then in time. So 6 months is plenty of time for sure. So play it.
But we don't know if they're going to do this anywhere other than Japan. I saw some people saying that Japan might be better suited to this sort of cloud gaming idea. So they might just leave it there and not try to localize this.
Yeah, it could be a test kind of thing, I guess, too. If it does well there, hey, they could do it over here. Because it's not really costing them too much per se to be able to do this. So, but really interesting. So what do you guys think? We have Biwa saying this is bizarre. It is bizarre for sure. Again, when I first saw this, I'm like, oh great, cool, Resident Evil 7, and then oh, Cloud Edition. I'm like, crap. But I guess as we learn more, see how it goes, and see, like I said, you have to have a really good, solid connection, especially to do something like this.
I feel like connection issues could be a particular problem for a horror game.
Yeah, I think a few people who were previewing it or something who have the demo, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but a few people I saw commenting about it said that the game just quit on them at the first intro or something like that. They already just quit like in the first few minutes. I'm like, what the heck? So yeah, for sure, you gotta have a great connection to play something like that. But all right, so there you go, Resident Evil 7 Cloud Edition. Moving along, we have Nurse Love Addiction coming to the Switch eShop in Japan on May 24th. What is this?
Yeah, so this is another visual novel. The Switch is really becoming a home for visual novels. I believe this one was released on the Vita previously. I can't remember if it came out on other systems, if it was on the PlayStation 4 or not, but it was at least on the Vita, and so now it's coming to the Switch in Japan, so we'll wait to see if the Switch version is localized. I don't see why it wouldn't be. So yes, that is out now.
Great, yeah, just another addition to the visual novels. We'll have like a whole library of those, which we already do actually now, of these games, so cool. We have a mobile musical runner called Lost in Harmony coming to the eShop on June 21st. And is this going to be remastered at all, or just kind of ported over?
I'm not sure. It was So it was a mobile game first. I'm not sure if they said anything about new features or anything like that coming to the Switch version.
Okay.
I don't see them saying anything about it. But yeah, so this is a combination of a runner and a rhythm game.
Right. Very cool. And then we have Gal Metal, which is also an interesting musical game. This is being localized too, right?
Right, yeah, this was announced, and I think it might have come out in Japan a while ago, and people were wondering if it was going to be localized or not. And so now they announced that it is going to come to the West this fall, both physically and digitally.
Awesome. So we have Biwa saying, "Oh my God, you do not need to say another word. Nurse Love Addiction is all need to be sold." Yeah, the title alone should sell it to you if you're interested in that kind of thing for sure. Especially if you're a guy, maybe. I don't quite know about that, but but this Gal Metal game is it's a heavy metal rhythm game, right? I think I saw that.
I believe so. I think so. I think that's where the metal comes from.
And it says, yeah, heavy metal rhythm game heading to the Switch has all the makings of the console's first success in the genre, which is a quote by Polygon, which is pretty interesting because, well, how many other heavy metal musical games are on the Switch? None. So it has to be a success, right? That's kind of funny. But that looks really interesting. Have a little graphic here of, I guess, the game itself. So there you go. Pretty cool box art, too, if you look it up online. Really colorful. All right, then we have Brownies, which is the studio that worked on the mobile game. Is that Eglia?
Yes, Eglia, Legend of the Red Cap. Oh, I spelled that wrong. That should be Red Cap. I'll have to edit that and put the D back in. I believe they also contributed, or at least some of them contributed to Fantasy Life. I was a little unsure about it because there was the studio called Brownie Brown, and they changed their name to One Up, I think, and they helped with Fantasy Life.
Oh, wow.
But then Brownies seems like they have some sort of connection to Brownie Brown, too. I'm not entirely sure. I think maybe some people from Brownie Brown left and formed Brownies. I'm not positive. But anyway, this developer, they said they're working on a Switch game and that it will be some sort of raising game, so some sort of pet raising or monster raising, something like that.
Great. So this is actually a new game then we're working on. So as we learn more, we'll post it to you guys and pass it along. We have Hector and Ferrari, Simon in chat. Good to see you guys. Make sure you hit the like button for the podcast. All right, so Nintendo News Bites continuing along. We have actually release dates now for a slew of games. And the first one on the list, of course, is Pixel Junk Monsters 2, May 30th. Now, in Europe, it was delayed. Is that correct?
Yes, so this is the announcement because we had the Pixel Junk Monsters 2 release date announcement a week ago or a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And
so this is actually that for Europe, it has been delayed. It was supposed to come out today. Instead, it's coming out on May 30th.
Okay. Very cool. And then we also talked about the collector's edition, I think, a week or two ago. If you guys wanted that, I think it's already sold out. I think it went up on either, I think, limited run or signature edition. I'm not sure which one of those put it up the past week, and they are all out. I pretty much believe that as of right now. So that is sold out, but you can still get, I'm sure, the regular retail copy or, of course, eShop copy then when it's released in Europe too. So May 30th, there you go, 5 days away then. And then we have May 31st is Quad Fighter K, and this is this shmup game, right? This shooter.
Yes. Yes, of course we've talked about a lot of those. Yeah. Yes, but yes, Quad Fighter K that's one of them that's coming out on May 31st, and we've got several announcements for May 31st, so that's going to be a big day, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So moving along then from Quad Fighter K, we have West of Loathing, May 31st, and this is the stick figure kind of artwork we have, this black and white kind of looking game, right?
Right, yeah, the stick figure RPG that was announced during was it the Nintendo Direct or one of the Nindies showcases?
I think
something
the Nindies
like
showcase, yeah. Very cool. Also, May 31st is Just Shapes and Beats, and this is another musical game, correct? Of Just Shapes
right, yes,
and Beats.
I think we talked about this one before, yes. This one is also coming out on May 31st.
Great. Then also, what's the last one there for May 31st?
Pirate Pop Plus. This is a game, I believe we talked about it, that the original version came out for the 3DS and the Wii U, and we hadn't heard of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is now it's coming to the Switch. That was announced a while ago, and so that will also be out on May 31st.
Cool. So those are all May 31st. That's Quad Fighter K, West of Loathing, Just Shapes and Beats, and Pirate Pop Plus. Moving along to the first week into June 7th, is the Banner Saga 2. And the first one is already out now, correct?
Right, yeah, so that came out a couple of weeks ago, maybe? So yeah, so then now the Banner Saga 2 is coming out on June 7th.
Yeah, and to really solid reviews, I believe I've read, too, for the Banner Saga. So here we have the second installment then, coming out June 7th. And then we have about a month or so gap, moving along to July 10th. And this is this 20XX game. This is this platforming game, right?
Right, yeah, an action platformer, I think maybe Mega Man inspired.
Yeah, by looking at the artwork for sure. All right, and then Sleep Tight is July 26th. I'm not familiar with this. What is this? Do you know?
Yeah, I think we talked about it previously. Is this the, or maybe we didn't mention it on the podcast before. I think we might have had the news at one point when it was announced. Is this the one that is a tower defense game, sort of, I think?
You might be right.
Or,
double check here.
It says
arcade style twin stick shooter.
Twin stick shooter base builder hybrid.
So there you go. Yeah, that probably has the elements of that then too.
Yeah, so you have a pillow fort and you're defending your bedroom from monsters.
Which sounds pretty cool to me. That's really neat. Looking at the graphic here, it's pretty cool. All right, and then we have NAS announcing God Wars, the complete legend in Europe. Will be August 31st, so they get it first. Then September 4th will be God Wars Complete Legend in North America. So Europe, you're getting that first, so you guys are lucky. Very cool. So that wraps up the release dates, guys, for those games from May 30th all the way to September 4th. Now we have some trailers and details as well. And shaping up to be a pretty solid fighting game. We have SNK Heroines, Tag Team Frenzy. We have a new character announced, correct?
Yes, so this time they announced a character called Love Heart, who was originally from a game called Sky Love, and then also appeared in the fighting game King of Fighters 14. So she was announced, and there's a new trailer introducing her as well.
Great. Yeah, if you guys want to check out the trailer, you can do that. It is linked in the news article here, so check it out. We also have a graphic here. She is wearing a cop's outfit. Hubba bubba, look at that, guys. Wow. Okay, moving along. This game's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it. We have another game that's going to be really good, too. I think this will actually be a hidden gem because I think it's going to get buried by other releases, but hopefully not. And this is Little Dragon's Cafe. And we have the box art being revealed for this, right?
Yes, so they revealed the box art, and then they also updated the Japanese website with pictures of characters and stuff. So you can take a look at that. I don't think there was a whole lot of new information revealed, just a lot of showing different characters that you'll interact with, and of course the box art, which is very nice looking.
Yeah, don't forget the collector's edition as well for this game. You actually get a dragon plush inside the box, plus some cards, and a few little things mixed in there as well, plus the game. So check that out, guys. Looking forward to this. It looks like it's inspired by Wind Waker in a sense. So we mentioned that before in the podcast. So look at that picture right there. Pretty cute. All right. New trailer then available is for Shining Resonance Refrain. And I think this also, I'm not sure if this is recent or not. I think it has a release date now, July 10th too. My Amazon changed this week to July 10th. So there you go. And does the trailer show anything new, what we haven't seen before?
I think the biggest thing would be that this is an English trailer. So if you want to hear the English voices for Shining Resonance Refrain, you can watch that trailer. And it sounds pretty good.
Excellent. All right, then we have another demo right now available in the Switch eShop. This is for Happy Birthdays. Also a new trailer too. I didn't look at the trailer. Anything new for this trailer?
Oh, I don't think anything in particular. I think it's just a basic sort of overview trailer announcing because of the demo coming, so they want to give an overview trailer too.
Cool. I haven't played the demo yet, guys, so if you have, let me know how long it lasts or whatever, what you can do, because I am previewing the game right now. I just played about 2 hours today, and we'll be talking more about that and what games we played in a new segment in a little bit later on, so stay tuned for that. Another demo available for the Switch, of course, is Sushi Striker, The Way of Sushido, and that's available right now. And you guys are playing, I think Fluffy and Chat has played it earlier today, so there you go. Looking forward to that. And then we have Meet the Squad trailer for Valkyria Chronicles 4, And also a special edition was announced too, right?
Yeah, so they announced a $99.99 special edition called the Memoirs from Battle Edition. And so I brought it up now to see what the
I just
ordered
it. I just ordered this special edition, by the way.
Yeah, so this comes with a vinyl statue of a tank, a 100-page themed art book, not 100-page themed, 100-page art book themed after the one character's journal. And then it's also including a couple more DLC episodes, it looks like.
Yeah, it's like you get 2 add-on side missions, features the beloved Squad 7 from the original game. So Advance Ops and Unite Front with Squad 7. Very cool. Coming on fall. And I think it actually has a date of November 27th. So that is fall. So there you go, guys. Pretty cool special edition. If you're interested, it's on Amazon right now. So go check it out. All right. Then we have some updates and DLC to talk about. And of course, the lovable pink guy. We have Kirby Star Allies. They're adding a new Dream Friend. And who is this?
Yeah, so this is Daroch. So he's being added in the summer update, which still doesn't have a date, but they had mentioned a while ago that there would be an update in the summer. So now we know one of the things that will be added.
Very cool. We have Fluffy in chat saying Sushi Striker demo is a lot of fun. Definitely looks like a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to that. Are you guys getting it on the Switch and 3DS, or just the Switch, or just a 3DS? Let me know. Demetrius says the sushi game looks good. Might get it for my Switch. Yeah, definitely. Looks really, really good. Awesome. All right, guys, keep reading your comments as we go through here. All right, so then we have some Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle DLC as well regarding Donkey Kong, right?
Yes, so they had announced this a while back that Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle would be getting the Donkey Kong Adventure DLC. So now they released a trailer for it, showing it for the first time, or maybe they had showed it briefly before, I can't remember. But then they also said it'll be out in June, so it's coming soon.
Very cool, yeah. So literally could be days away or a couple weeks away, because June is right around the corner next week. All right, guys, and then we have a version 1.3 update for Demo, which will be out on May 24th, which is yesterday. And that adds 11 new songs and controller support. So I guess Demo is a rhythm game. It was it just touch only at the time?
I believe so. I believe when it first launched, it was only touch only.
Okay, cool. Good to see the extra support being added in there, plus 11 new songs. So there you go for version 1.3. If you have the game, it should have been updated already. Then also Wolverblade, which I think we reviewed and also had an interview, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, we did interview them and then had the review. So yes, that is getting its first update, which I believe made it to other platforms before, but they posted a thing about how they had some problems where when they submitted the update to Nintendo was getting a crash that they couldn't replicate. So they had to go through a lot to be able to replicate the crash and then fix the crash.
Wow.
So now the update is finally coming, or actually it came yesterday. And so this adds a few things. One of the biggest ones is in easy mode. So if you were struggling with the game, you'll now be able to play in easy mode that also includes checkpoints before boss battles, which I know was one of the things that I really wished that it had while I was playing.
Very cool. Yeah, you know a game's hard when they add easy mode in an update. For sure. Do you find it pretty challenging as well?
Yes, I would say. As some people I've seen say, "Oh, it's not hard at all. It needs to be harder." But for me, I found Wolverblade to be a pretty challenging game.
Cool. So this is a welcome addition then, for sure. So and that was, of course, updated just yesterday. So if you have the game, it should already be updated for you as well. All right, guys. In that regard, as regarding the updates and DLC that we have for this week, then we have some Nintendo 3DS news as well to talk about, which is far and few between recently, but there's stuff coming. We have a release date. And this is for Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. This is for Europe, right? The delay?
Yeah, so this is another delay, actually, because for most platforms and regions, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon came out yesterday. But for Europe, that has also been delayed, which is odd. That's the second Europe exclusive delay that we've been discussing here.
Yeah.
So that has been delayed until May 31st.
There's some weird things happening in Europe. I'm not sure why. Remember the NES game, Penny Punching Princess was removed physically, I think, as well.
Yeah, I
from
remember.
shops.
Yeah.
So just some weird things brewing. What's happening in Europe? Come on, guys, get your act together. But yeah, it's kind of weird. But all right, some trailers and details then too regarding Etrian Odyssey X, or I guess Cross, right?
Yes. Yeah, so this is actually pretty impressive if you like the class appearance illustrations from the past games, because they announced that all of the past class appearance illustrations, which are 313 of them, will be available to download as DLC. They will be free for the first month, and then afterwards they will be paid, although it looked like it was going to be a pretty cheap DLC packs. So yes, so if you're interested in those, they'll be available for free for the first month.
Excellent. That's pretty welcome then, because a lot of people complain about, oh, I don't like the new artwork or whatever. So there you go. That's awesome. And that wraps up the Nintendo News Bites, guys. So new abbreviated format, so we can get to more of your questions and other cool discussion segments. So we'll take a break. We'll come back with, let's see what's up next. I'm going to go on the dock here and take a look. We got your questions, what we're playing, as well as coming up next, and your questions, the time portal, and player spotlight all ahead. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast with your hosts, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard. We'll be right back after the short break. Visit our website at NintendoChitChat.com and catch up on everything Nintendo. Grab the audio version of the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast on iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or Player FM. You're listening to the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast with your hosts, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard.
All right, guys, and welcome back. Nintendo News Bites is all wrapped up, so now we'll go into what we're playing here regarding maybe Switch or 3DS games or other stuff too, between Samantha and I. And let us know in chat too what games you guys are playing currently and what you're looking forward to as well. All right, so welcome back, Samantha.
Thank you.
So we're going to kick things off. I have just started playing the past week Fallen Legion Rise to Glory, coming out on May 29th, actually. We have 7 videos previewed up on the website, or on YouTube actually right now, so check it out. They're about 15-20 minutes in length. It's a pretty interesting game. And Samantha, you played previous entries in the game, correct?
Right, because previously they had released it has 2 separate games for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Vita. So the Princess, or whatever she is, that was the PlayStation 4 game, and then the Rebel was the PlayStation Vita game. So I played each of those a little bit. I finished the PlayStation 4 one, and I don't think I finished the Vita one. I only got partway through it. So yeah, so I found it interesting, but ultimately it didn't hold my interest as much as I'd hoped.
Yeah, it does seem like a repetitive kind of thing after a while. I do like the combat, though. It's pretty interesting to me, trying to get the best combos and chains of combos. And you had these action points, too, which you can see on the screen here, these little circles with the buttons. I guess weaker attacks cost less for action points, like 1 or 2 action points. Then you can do bigger attacks, stronger attacks, which costs more action points. So you have to actually reserve some points to make sure you're keeping your combos and chains of combos up. But then you have other things happening during battles too, where you can do chances or choices of A, B, or C with 3 cards, which actually kind of take effect on the story, I think, as the game plays out too, so which is really cool. And this is actually a combination of I think the previous games. So when you begin the game, you actually have two choices to choose from: Princess Cecile or Legatus Landor, who fights a nation on its rise. Your basic goal is to command these exemplars, who are like these spirits or souls or whatever, and ascend to the throne and defeat the evil in the world. So there's some pretty interesting boss battles that take place too. I think in 7 videos there's 2 bosses that we fight, which is pretty cool. So check it out. And that is Fallen Legion Rise to Glory, coming to the Switch on May 29th. Now we'll talk more about your game, Samantha, and you're playing Metroid Fusion, which is really cool. What made you start this? Was it on your backlog or something, or?
Yes, I had actually started a while ago. I have it on the 3DS because I believe it was one of the Ambassador games. So I had actually started it quite a while ago and enjoyed it, but for some reason I started playing other games and never got back to it. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll start it up again. And I checked my progress, and I had only played it for a little over an hour. So I decided to start over, and now I've already passed the point where I had stopped before, so I'm enjoying it so far.
Awesome. And
hopefully this time I will actually stick with it and finish it this time.
And this game came out back on the Game Boy Advance, so you're playing it on what?
On the 3DS. It was 3DS. Part of the Ambassador program.
Okay, right. Very cool. So I never played Metroid Fusion before, so I'll have to see if I get some time to play it. I love Metroid games. Finished up the last one, the 3DS was really, really good. A good return to classic 2D Metroid, so there you go. Very cool. If you guys don't know, I am currently playing Hyrule Warriors, the Definitive Edition as well, thanks to Nintendo. And if you guys like Zelda and the Warriors or Musou games, definitely get this. It has everything from the Wii U version, 3DS, all the DLC, plus Breath of the Wild costumes for both Link and Zelda. Better graphics. There's tons more enemies on the screen compared to the Wii U version, even so. The graphics are good, plays really well, frame rate's good too. It's just really epic, so really great game. Now you're also still playing Lady Layton 2, is that right?
Yes, so I finished it, and as you know, I wasn't completely sold on it, but it does have the daily puzzles, so I decided I would download the daily puzzles and see how they are. And it's kind of funny that the daily puzzles so far seem better in some ways, in a lot of ways actually, than the puzzles in the main game. I've been wondering when I was playing through the main game, and there were so many puzzles that just used sort of the trick questions and trying to confuse you and deceive you, and some of the puzzles just seemed so much weaker. I had kind of wondered, like, even if, because the original puzzle master, as they called him, passed away sometime last year, I believe. So, like, even if they couldn't have, like, new puzzles from the original creator, I had wondered why they wouldn't just copy the format from the previous games. And the daily puzzles seem a lot like they just took the format of the daily puzzles from Azran Legacy and made new versions. Like, they aren't identical, but a lot of them are familiar, so they are stronger than the puzzles in the main game.
Yeah, I was really curious when you said you're playing this. I'm like, what? I thought you finished it, but they're doing the daily puzzles. So you found a reason to play the game still, in a sense, which is pretty cool, actually. So there you go. So if you didn't enjoy the actual story or the the whole game itself, there's daily puzzles, which might be better for you. So There you go. Very cool. All right, so we have Christina wants Hyrule Warriors so bad. Fluffy's playing Hyrule Warriors. Awesome. Fluffy also played the demo of course, Sushi Striker we mentioned earlier. Very cool. All right, so I'm also playing and previewing Happy Birthdays. So anybody in chat actually do the demo yet? If you have, let me know how long it is or whatever. So this game is really interesting to me. This is really like a chilled, kind of laid-back game. Have you ever played Populous, Samantha?
No.
So Populous was an older game. I think it came out on the SNES, PC, and maybe even DS. But basically, you're in control of the terrain, kind of like God, and your job is to basically you can either raise or lower terrain. You can make mountains, you can make oceans or whatever. Same kind of thing here. However, you're not commanding an army at all. What you want to do is actually create life and have it grow. The mechanics are very simple, but it's complex because you have to worry about temperature changes, sea levels, sea temperature, different kind of atmospheric conditions, And if you don't balance it all out, you'll have a bunch of animals and species being extinct and not producing and populating the area of your world. So it's pretty cool. I played for about 2 hours today, and I started off with like 300 and some thousand species, or organisms or whatever. That's including animals and plant life and trees, that kind of thing. And they started dying off. I had like 100,000 by the time I was done with my half-hour episode. I had to make more water, basically. I was making too much land, so the temperature was rising and things like that, so I made more oceans. There's 3 levels to the sea as well. There's the shallow kind of area, there's a middle depth, and you also have the deep sea, which gives different life and breeds different life in that area too. So it's really cool, though. It's kind of like Populous as far as moving terrain around. It does take a while getting used to the controls and camera angles, but after about an hour or so, it was pretty fun. It's a very laid-back kind of game, too. But your main mission is to have all of these species evolve until you start getting humans on your map into a modern society, which is supposedly the main goal of the game, which is really neat. So that is Happy Birthdays, and the Switch version as well. Of course, the name changed from Birthdays at the beginning on the other consoles, but you can choose up to 4 of the biomes right away. There is a frozen kind of tundra area, there's Greenlands, there's like a rocky terrain, and also I think a desert too, which is supposedly more difficult. So I went with the Greenlands to kick things off with my easy game, but I still was losing lots of life in my game. But it's pretty enjoyable. So that is Happy Birthdays. Look for our previews to go up on May 29th of next week. So there you go. All right, long-winded there, but that is that game, if you guys were wondering about it. And the demo is available now, so go check it out. Get used to the controls, too, if you want to, for the Switch. Okay, so Samantha, you're also playing, or still playing, excuse me, Tales of Fantasia, right?
Yes, so I've got 2 Game Boy Advance games in progress, which gives you an idea of what my backlog is like.
Right, yeah.
So yes, when we had talked about it the last time, I said I was thinking about starting over, and I did start over, and I actually noticed something unusual in the beginning, because I started over and went through the opening stuff in the first town, and when I was going around, there's a couple little quests that you can do right in the beginning, and one of them is when you go to the inn, the person in charge asks you to move a statue, and I didn't actually remember this happening, but I thought, well, it was actually a while ago that I had originally started it, so I probably just forgot. So I went through and did that, and then I played a little more, but then I ended up actually turning it off by accident because I pressed the wrong button because I'm not used to using the original DS. So anyway, that wasn't good. But then I started over and started a new game and went through the little quests again. And I went to the inn and talked to the person, and she refused to give me the quest. Wow. She just said, you're not allowed to go in there. So I talked to her again and said, you're not allowed to go in there. I did some other things, explored for a while, went to some later locations that the plot wasn't telling me to go to, came back, you're not allowed to go in there. So I looked it up, and apparently sometimes she just won't ask you to move the statue. And so sometimes you play it and you get this quest in the beginning, and sometimes you just don't. Wow. Some people said that if you did some battles and came back, then she might do it, but she didn't ask me. So I don't know what's up with that kind of.
So it's kind of like a game breaker almost, isn't it? Wow.
Well, no, but it's only a minor optional quest.
Okay, but still, that's kind of weird.
Get I don't know, an apple gel or something as a reward. I don't remember what it was again. So a minor quest that only sometimes occurs at the start of the game.
That's crazy. Is this the game with the weird voiceovers we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
Yes, I've been enjoying the combat cries and the characters speaking out loud at the end of the battles. Yes, the voices do take some getting used to.
That's hilarious. You guys should go look up some of these YouTube videos of this game for just the voiceovers in general. I think we posted a couple of them in chat and Discord, so I think the link's still in one of the sections and probably the other games or whatever in our Discord. So yeah, check it out. Very cool. So this coming week, Samantha, you're going to finish up, I guess, Metroid Fusion as well? How far are you in it?
Commit myself to that. I've played a little over an hour.
Oh, okay. Got a long way to go, I'm sure.
I do tend to take a while with games sometimes, so
yeah.
I won't commit to finishing it that soon.
Very cool. All right, guys, that ends up what we're playing this week. We'll probably do this every week or so, depending on what games we're playing new or old, too. So let us know what games you're still playing in chat, and we'll take a short break here. Last segment, we'll be going to your questions, player spotlight, time portal, and more. So we'll be right back in a moment. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast with your hosts, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard. We'll be right back after the short break. Grab the audio version of the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast on iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or Player FM. Visit our website at NintendoChitChat.com and catch up on everything Nintendo. You're listening to the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast with your hosts, Eddy Ray and Samantha Lienhard.
All right, and we're back, guys. Nintendo Chit Chat podcast, episode 21. Dillon's Dead Heat Breaker's out now on the Nintendo 3DS. So a new game for the 3DS is out right now for you guys, if you're interested. All right, we got a lot of cool things ahead in this next section. We'll be talking about your questions, and if you want to actually submit questions to us too, you can do so a couple different ways. Go to our Discord. Invitation link is below the description of the video. Invite yourself, come on in, join up, and go to NCC-podcast and ask your questions there. Any kind of gaming questions, ask more than one, that's fine. We'll take what we can every week. Or you can also email us, NintendoChitChat@gmail.com, your questions. So we got a bunch of questions. We have 4 this week, actually. So, Samantha, did you get a chance to look over all the questions earlier?
Yep, I looked over them earlier today.
Okay, great. So in our list, we actually have, let's see here. First off, JKW. This is kind of a lengthy question, too. Really interesting, though. JKW asks, should Nintendo remake games from the Wii and DS that could play online but cannot anymore because of the online being discontinued, and make them have the Nintendo Network instead, like Mario Kart Wii? What do you think about this one, Samantha?
I think that could have some potential. I was thinking about especially how they're doing this thing with the old NES games, where they're adding the online functions to them. That wouldn't be the same sort of thing, of course, but it does seem like if they're willing to do that, then maybe they would remake or even just port some of the older games over and let them use the online system. I think that could be an interesting idea. That could work well.
Yeah, I think so. My other thought, though, is like they've been there, done that for some of these online, like Mario Kart Wii. I'm not sure if they want to give online to something like that because they already have the newest Mario Kart with online available now. I don't know. Actually, excellent question, though. The other thing I thought about this, too, is what they're doing with the NES games, giving it online. That's kind of different because those games never had online at all.
Right.
So they're kind of creating a new experience with the older games. And in this scenario here, you're just reestablishing what you had years ago, which was, good, but now we have maybe things that are better regarding Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and that kind of thing too. So I kind of play it both ways there, though. But a really good question. I guess we'll see. I don't see them doing this, though. I just see them doing more of the kind of new experience with the older games never had online and adding online to it, because that's kind of a new mechanic then within the game. That's my thoughts. But excellent question. JKW, thanks very much. He's a sponsor of ours too, so really appreciate that. All right, so next one up for Samantha and I is submitted by Ferrari Ninja, a big Rocket Leaguer in our community. Do you think Nintendo is going to make one more type of DS? And I racked my brain on this one for a while. When the Switch was still called the NX before release, I was thinking that Nintendo would be doing another DS possibly, but now I think probably not. I think the DS is done with. However, I'm not saying they're not going to be doing another handheld of some sort. Just I think the dual screens is probably done with as far as the 2DS and 3DS go. I don't think we'll ever be seeing another dual screen system that's brand new or updated after what we already have. What do you think, Samantha?
Well, I think that it would be maybe not the best decision for them to do it now, like alongside the Switch, because even if they didn't intend for the Switch to take over for both the Wii U and the 3DS, it seems like it's going to. So I was thinking about like some of the DS and 3DS big franchises, like we've got Pokemon is going to the Switch. Capcom is taking Ace Attorney to the Switch. Level 5 is taking Professor Layton to the Switch. And I'm sure there's lots of others too, like lots of things that you would associate with the 3DS and DS are moving to the Switch, so that if they did come out with a 3DS successor now, would it just have ports of those? Would it be missing those series? It seems like if they wanted to do it, I would think that they would probably wait until after the Switch, or at least once the Switch had been out for a while.
Right, and that's a really good point. And I think too, like we all know Nintendo's in the hardware game. You know, they make money off of hardware. Of course, the software helps push the hardware, but even though the Switch is doing gangbusters right now, you know, you would think they would have like another possibility of something else coming out maybe in a couple of years. It probably would have HD graphics as opposed to what we have now in the 3DS, so it would be something new. But would it share the same library as the Switch? You can't really do a Switch Mini per se, because if you shrink the Joy-Cons down anymore, then you don't really have anything going for that. You know, if there's no TV, you know, if you can't dock it, then you're not really adding the Switch factor to it either with that. So
I suppose they could maybe come out with some sort of like portable only version of the Switch, like how the 3DS's big thing was 3D, but then they came out with the 2DS. That was just fine because not everyone liked to use the 3D. So there could be people who just like to take the Switch on the go and don't hook it up to the TV anyway. There could be some sort of portable version.
Yeah, there's still that big handheld market out there. I mean, the 3DS sold, I think, what is it, 60 million or something worldwide now. There's still definitely a pool of people out there who want a dedicated handheld system. And the Switch is not that, and it's not a home console dedicated system either. It's a hybrid. You have the choice of either or. So it doesn't really excel either one of those. It's good at both. But yeah, so this is a really interesting question. I guess we'll see in a year or two what they'll do. They probably already have things planned, or they probably have prototypes, but they're probably waiting to see how well the Switch continues to do. So good question, Ferrari. Thanks very much for that. All right, good answers too, Samantha. Okay, JKW again. He's been busy. What do you think of the new Mario Kart coming to the mobile platform? And we don't know too much about this, actually. We just had the announcement from a while back. Nothing new recent, though, right?
Not as far as I know. When I saw the question, the first thing I realized was that I had forgotten about it. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. They did announce that, didn't they? So then I looked it up to see if there were any details, and I couldn't find anything. So I think it's too early at this point to say too much about it, since all we really know is that it exists.
I'm guessing it will not be a real-time racing game. I have a feeling it might be like kind of like a Mario Party kind of thing, like a kind of a board game type of racer, where you have to do puzzles or mini games to get your kart to progress on the stage.
Interesting. With
extra power-ups and that kind of thing you have to fight for or whatever. Who knows? That's my kind of idea of this, because I don't see them actually doing a real-time racing game, because mobile graphics are pretty powerful. Do they really want to push a 3D racer when they have something on the Switch that's kind of comparable to that in a sense? I mean, they really have to make it crappy, I think, if for a real-time racer. They'd really have to kind of tear apart to make it that mobile kind of feel, I guess. If we look at Fire Emblem on mobile device, clearly it's a mobile game. So how would you make a mobile racer a mobile game? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point. The mobile style doesn't. I mean, I guess you could unlock new carts somehow, but yeah, it doesn't lend itself to that structure as well.
I mean, I could be way off here. I just think it's going to be some kind of like turn-based or something like that. I don't think it's going to be an actual real-time racer, but I could be way wrong. If I am, I'll eat my own words on the podcast. But yeah, as far as what we know about it, we don't know anything about it. And remember, these mobile games are just to push the brand of Nintendo and the franchise, not to compete with what we have now on the dedicated platforms like 3DS and Switch either. So keep that in mind, guys. But very good question. Thanks, JKW, again. All right. We have one more question, I believe. And this is from Daryl. Asked us a couple weeks ago, I think. Would you like to have Fortnite come to the Switch? What do you think, Samantha?
Oh, well, I don't play multiplayer games that much, so I'm not really invested in it either way. So sure, but it doesn't really matter to me either way. I know a lot of people want it.
Yeah, I think, why not? It's a popular game. The more people that can play it, the better. The Switch is a great platform, I think, for something like this. So yeah, for sure. I would not mind at all if it came to the Switch. So good question, Daryl. Thanks very much. And that wraps up all of the viewer questions, guys. So thanks very much for those, JKW, Ferrari, and Daryl for all of that. Don't forget to email us your questions, NintendoChitChat@gmail.com, or go to Discord, #NCC-podcast. And now for the player spotlight, drum roll. Let's see here, is Ferrari Ninja. So Ferrari, congratulations. Everyone give him big congratulations in chat and Discord as well. Make sure you tag him there. Thanks for supporting the podcast and all of the streams that you go to. And in Discord, you're always around. We always see you. So thanks very much, buddy. You're an awesome guy. We appreciate it very, very much. Okay. Samantha, are you ready for the time portal, issue number 17?
All right, yes.
Awesome. So here we are, issue 17. And we have some big ones here this issue. Let me pull up on my actual computer here. I didn't have the actual article pulled up, so give me 1 second as I do this. So yeah, issue 17, we have some popular games from both 3DS and Wii, plus more. All right, kicking things off, speaking of Mario Tennis, Aces, which people were talking about in chat earlier, we have Mario Tennis Open. And what date is this? We have a bunch of dates, right?
Yeah, so Mario Tennis Open came out on the 3DS on May 20th, 2012 in North America, May 24th in Japan and Australasia, and May 25th in Europe. So we got to celebrate all of its region release dates this week.
Awesome. And this is actually a really good Mario Tennis game as well on the 3DS. It's probably the best tennis game that we had since, because the one on the Wii U wasn't very good. It was very lacking in content. This has online. It's still active too. It has many different cups, many different courts. You can play as your Mii character, and there's tons of challenge modes in this as well. So it's really a full package of game, and you can get it fairly inexpensive, I believe, on eBay. I think I saw recently. So check it out, guys. If you don't have it, good for your collection. That's Mario Tennis Open in the time portal. Moving along, we have Super Mario Galaxy 2. And what date do we have for this, Samantha?
Super Mario Galaxy 2 came out on May 23rd, 2010. So this, of course, was the successor to Super Mario Galaxy. It added Yoshi, new power-ups, all sorts of things. And a lot of people seem to think that it's even better than the original Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, and speaking of these two games, Galaxy and Galaxy 2, do you think we'll ever get like a remaster of these games on the Switch, like a collection of these?
That would be interesting. I don't know. People are still waiting for Sunshine to come back, and it hasn't.
That's true too. Yeah, that's true.
I would find it odd if they brought back Galaxy and Galaxy 2
first
before Sunshine.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, good point. I know even back in the Wii U days, people were like, we'd have Galaxy, remasters or whatever. It never happened. So, but here we go with Mario Odyssey still in people's minds. People still love these Galaxy games. So, who knows? We'll see. Then we have more DK to talk about. We have Donkey Kong Country Returns. This is the 3D game, though, right? On the 3DS.
Yes, so this was the 3DS port of Donkey Kong Country Returns, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. And so this came out on May 24th, 2013 in North America and Europe, and then on May 25th in Australasia. It didn't come to Japan until June. And so this made me think of the Tropical Freeze re-release as I was writing it, because this added a new, easier mode.
Oh, yeah, it did. That's right.
Then it also added an extra world and some new levels.
Yeah, this is actually a really good port of the game, too. The only thing, I think the frame rate was cut in half from 60 to 30, but it still played pretty smoothly and well. So yeah, this is actually a great game for the 3DS to have, and a really good port. So yeah, the easy mode there is a good addition as well, like you mentioned, for sure. Because DK games are actually pretty difficult. They're pretty challenging games. So All right, and then we have a series we've been talking about for a while. This is the Jake Hunter detective story. Which one is this?
Yeah, so this is the only other one besides the one that's coming up that to be localized. So it's interesting because I had never really heard much about it before. But so this one was localized. This was Jake Hunter detective story, Memories of the Past, which was localized on May 26th, 2009. And the interesting thing here is that the game was originally out in Japan, and so then they localized an older version of it, but they cut a huge amount of the content out. And so this was called Jake Hunter Detective Chronicles, and I don't think it was done. It did very well, or people were at least displeased about all the cut content. So then they retranslated and re-released the full version of the game, and that is this one, Jake Hunter Detective Story, Memories of the Past.
Wow. Very cool. So we also have, of course, if you're interested in this franchise, 3DS title coming, and of course the Switch title coming as well. Different game too. So, all right, and that wraps up the Time Portal issue 17. Great job, Samantha. We look forward to issue 18 next week, and hope you guys enjoyed the new format change. I think we had some really good things happening with the podcast and with Samantha here, so I'm going to keep her on board. Make sure you guys show your support by hitting the like button. If you can, sponsorships as well, we really appreciate it. And we'll be back with Samantha, I believe, next Thursday. I'll let you know for sure. But have a good weekend, Samantha. Thank you so much.
All right, you too. All
right, take care. All right, guys, we're going to head out. Thanks for watching. I'm Eddy Ray for NintendoChitChat.com. We will see you guys tomorrow. Nintendo Chit Chat late at night at 5:30 pre-show. 6 o'clock is the show. The show to end all shows. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Grab the audio version of the Nintendo Chit Chat podcast on iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or Player FM. Visit our website at NintendoChitChat.com and catch up on everything Nintendo.